Hey guys, Luna here, and welcome back to our lives beginning and always. Let's just get right into it, shall we? So, if you remember where we last left off, we're doing a barbecue. You've been brought up along to this big park today, which did an excellent job of living up to its title. The park near your house, which with its lonely playground equipment. Which I want to double check the double things. Perfect, okay. The park near your house, which with its lonely playground equipment wasn't even a quarter of the size, expanse of grass and trees that lay before you now, as it was the next town over and too far for you to walk by yourself, and you didn't get to visit it much, and so you soak up the environment. Another difference between this park and the one in your neighborhood was that this one had visitors other than you, Lizzie, Shirley, and Cove. Today it was the busiest you've ever seen it, thanks to the community get-together, luring people in from all over the local area with the promise of barbecue and fireworks. Your family and Cove were just two of many, what seemed like a dozen of cars parked up already when you had arrived. You saw Cove hesitate as he took the growing gaggle of strangers. By your mommy, Lizzie bounced on the balls of her feet, barely containing her excitement. The crowd made you nervous, but you couldn't avoid coming to the event. Mommy had told you that the people running the community event weren't charging for it, but you wanted to get something in return, which is why you are not been allowed to touch the beautifully iced cupcakes she had carried on her lap during the drive over. It was a special treat for them. Every time the car made a turn, she clenched the box tight enough for her knuckles to strain, much to everyone else's amusement. Mr. Holton's contribution to the party, a huge pack of juice boxes, which was tucked under his arm after being retrieved from the car's trunk. You bet there had been no such dramatics around the cargo getting here in one piece, but the box did lack the beautiful shimmer of Mommy's treasured cupcakes.
Okie dokie.
Everyone else set? Should be. Cove, did you put sunscreen on before you left? Yeah, I always do. You don't have to tell me. Mr. Holton deflated, his attempt at caring for his son rebuffed, but triumphed with a smile.
Good kid.
I don't want you getting burned, or dehydrated either. It'll be a busy day.
Well,
don't think there's going to be any risk of that second part. Mom was right. At the table up ahead, laden with all kinds of food and drink. She was right. There was plenty to go around. The parents headed over with you and Lizzie and Cove trailing after them. A bunch of grown-ups were clustered around you there, chatting, but you were more intrigued by what was on the tables. Some of it was familiar: chilled meat, sliced vegetables, big bags of chips, but there was a lot that you didn't recognize. Moms had said that you weren't to touch the food until they said it was time to eat. You didn't see the harm in taking just a little. If you could nab something and pop it in your mouth without anyone noticing, no one could be upset. You chose to grab potato chip. You put the whole thing in your mouth and chewed surreptitiously as you could manage. Cove definitely caught on what you were up to. Luckily, he seemed to think it was funny and only smirked quietly. You saw that Mommy and Mr. Honan deposited the food and drink that brought. Mommy gave the cupboards one final look before turning it to you with a smile. Since that topic was at hand, how about we freshen up with something to drink? Yeah! That'll be great. Along with the ones out, there was a giant ice cooler on the ground, stuffed with cans of soda, boxes of juice and milk, as well as bottled water. Your drink was... I'll go with juice. You slurped that sweet juice through the straw until all too soon you were sucking up only air. Your little group took a break while everyone quenched their thirst. Mr. Holden smacked his lips, pantomiming enjoyment. That hit the spot, but you kids should go have fun. You can take your stuff with you and join the other kids playing games. Just don't go too far from the tables. We'll be keeping an eye out, so don't even think about sneaking off. We're not going to going to the other parts of the park today. Lizzie huffed at their comments. They did sound directed at her, but she scanned at the surroundings. Nodding her head toward a group of kids like a general directing of the battalion, she pointed the way.
Come on!
Let's get over there. Keith's mouth was downturned as he looked from the parents and the other adults to the new kids, clearly not favoring either option. But ultimately, he hunched his shoulders and tagged along after Lizzie. He went along to play with the other kids, too. You followed after Lizzie and Cove, who were waiting for you on the outskirts of the group of parents. Hurry up! picked up the pace, moving on to a jog, but when Lizzie pelted away at full speed, you and Cove had no choice but to break out into a run. The other kids were far out in the field. Still, at your speed, it wasn't long until you reached them. As you approached, they turned to greet the newcomers.
Hi.
I am Lizzie. That's my little sibling Luna. The one with the cast is Cove. Hi. Cave simply lifted a hand in greeting. There was a chorus of hellos and the names from the other kids. One of the kids looked to be about Lizzie's age or older. A couple of them seemed to be around the same age as you, Cove, and there was one tiny little thing with his arm folded around his chest. What are you up to? The first kid, a boy with curly black hair and neon green sneakers who introduced himself as Hayden, shrugged and looked at the others. Not much. The second kid to pipe up was Lisa, had her face half obscured behind huge glasses she wore. He hadn't decided yet. She glanced wistfully over her shoulder. Following her gaze, you saw the spray of water first and heard the shriek as someone got splashed in the face before you spotted the person shooting them. Some people are playing with water guns, but there aren't many left. The smallest kid, Noah, grumbled at that. You guess that's why he was sulking. Spencer, who hadn't said much, patted his shoulder. So that's out. A new kid raced over with a glint in her eyes and her braids streaming behind her. He spotted the plastic orange pistol in her hand too late when the trigger had already been pressed. Ack! Rude! Hey! Lizzie, who'd been caught first, was fuming. Cove wiped the water from his face. You rubbed at your ear, trying to dislodge the water then pooled in there. Watch out, he had a cast! Worried, you looked over at Clove's plastered arm. You knew that he had to be careful with that around water. It's okay. The girl simply darted off to find more victims, unaffected by your reaction. She didn't mean anything by it. Lizzie tutted, flicking her hair out of her face. The girl not meaning anything by it didn't change the fact that she'd been sprayed. Cove looked similarly unimpressed. Lisa's face lit up as she had an idea. Hey, we should catch her. She won't be able to spray people if she's running away from everybody. Yeah! Cove nodded as the other kids murmured at their interest or lack of it in the game. Let's see. No thanks. You sat on the sidelines as the other kids chased after the girl with the pistol, spying them, racing after her. She laughed and shot her pistol in the air. Only a couple of drops squeezed out. She swerved, causing discord within the group as they stumbled over each other in their uncoordinated attempt at turning. You watched quietly. It didn't seem necessary to do anything but watch what happened. The gap between the hunters and the hunted was narrowing. Eyes wide, you watch as Lisa lunged and tackled her friend to the ground. Got her! Panting, she punched the air in triumph, then pushed her glasses back up to the bridge of her nose. The girl who had been caught giggled as she got to their feet, brushing strands of grass from her knees. Smiling, Cove came to a stop. Lizzie whooped in delight, clapping her hands. The boy with the bright sneakers grinned. You're it now. Catch us if you can. Yeah, I'll do it. You won't get away from me. They all dispersed, squealing and laughing as they tried to evade capture. The sour mood from earlier had evaporated entirely, replaced by a light and playful atmosphere. Several rounds later, when most of the kids had taken at least one turn the scent of smoke wafted up your nose. Caught by surprise, you looked up and found that the brilliant blue of sky had turned orange as the sun sunk down on the horizon. Without all the excitement, you lost track of time completely. Looking over, you saw people standing over grills and poking them to life. It was nearly time to eat. We should go over there. I'm so hungry. Our parents are at different spots. Yeah. Bye. Let's go play.
Yep.
Bye. Bye. You waved goodbye to the other group of kids before hurrying over to your parents at Lizzie and Cove. A tickle unfurled in your throat, growing more persistent as you came closer to the source of the smoke. As the three of you approached the tables, your parents spotted you and came to join you halfway. You tried to greet them, but another cough obstructed your words. Oof, that's quite a cough.
Aww.
Oh, you alright, sweetie? You shook your head. Oh, baby, I'm sorry. The smoke will be gone soon. No one needs to go up to the grills if they don't want to. Just let me know what you need. There was no response from the other two kids here. please could you go get it for me? Of course.
So,
The main thing being served is kebabs. You can have whatever you like on it. There's different meats and veggies. What would you like on yours? Mom is right. There's plenty of options. I do like chicken. I do like some good grilled onions. Pepper is also very tasty. Zucchini is very good. Potatoes are also good. I'm always kind of just iffy on beef, shrimp, and pork. Well, it depends on the type of pork. Because some pork I like, some pork I don't like, so. But yeah, that's everything. Sounds good to me. The veggies will be good for you. Orders given. You waited for your food to be ready. Lizzie headed toward you, having issues with your own request. Hi again. I heard what you ordered. I'm getting a chicken kebab with all 3 colors of peppers. Noticing that Cove approach, she turned to him. What are you having?
why?
Why does it matter? I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm getting beef with shrimp and all the veggies except onions. Lizzie hummed while evaluating her response. That's okay, I guess, but chicken is definitely the better one. Then you can eat all the chicken. I'm going to. I want some chicken too. Oh yeah, I can let you have some still. You're welcome. Lizzie peered over the grills where the kebabs were being handed out, a growing assortment of kebabs collected at your parents' hands. They're coming over. Don't get jealous of mine when you realize you made the wrong choice, Cove. I didn't make the wrong choice. We all make good choices. It's just what kebab someone needs. The person serving gave your mommy one final kebab, but then your parents moved over to rejoin you. Between them, they were carrying 6 kebabs, 1 for each of you, including Cove and Miss Holden. We got the goods. Cove's daddy is looking for a place we can sit. In the meantime, they began passing out the kebabs to the rightful owners. Lizzie smiled smugly as she received hers. These are pretty big. Be careful not to drop it. Try not to poke yourselves with the ends either. They're sharper than you might think. Hearing that, you tentatively pushed the tip of your skewer against your finger. Felt like the point was nearly sharpened pencil. Though it didn't hurt your hand, you wouldn't want it scraping the roof of your mouth or jabbing your tongue. Mommy clucked her tongue. It would have been nice if some of the options were a little easier to manage and less messy to eat, especially for smaller kids. There aren't even plates for everyone, so we could set food down for a second.
True.
That's what you get for the price of free, but we can hack it, right? Lizzie nodded her head vigorously, clutching her kebab like a trophy. Your parents led you back to the tables. It was immediately evident why Mr. Holden had been sent out to scout one out. The benches had quickly filled up as people got their food. Mr. Holden was standing over a corner section near the edge of the sitting area. He beckoned your group over to join him. You clambered onto the bench, taking care not to let your kebab slip from your fingers. Further along the table, Cove perched next to his dad while Lizzie took the space next to you. Your mom's passed out the final unclaimed kebab to Mr. Holden.
Thank you.
Looks delicious. Thank you for getting a space out here. Everyone tucked at their food. Though you didn't think you would use much energy standing around, you felt very ready to enjoy your dinner. Perhaps it had been the delicious smell that filled the air, along with the smoke that irritated your throat. Mr. Holden, what do you do?
Well,
I do a lot of things. Do you play golf? Only if you count mini golf. One look at Lizzie's stricken face confirmed that she did not. She could enjoy the occasional round of mini golf at a mini golf place, especially if she had an audience to impress, but your sister took her passion very seriously. Even then, it's been years since I gave it a shot. Cove groaned at the feeble pun. Mom chuckled. You weren't sure if she was responding to the junk, cave annoyance, or Lizzie's offense.
Don't worry about it.
But just as well, she'll be dragging you out to the green every week. That's because I got a dedication. Need a good drive or two to get far. Mr. Holden nodded, clicking his tongue in appreciation. Cove looked from his father to your sister, lost in the conversation. Our class in golf and wit. I don't get it. A drive is a type of golf shot. You should give real golf a try. Maybe he'll even teach you some tricks. Don't try to change my dad to be more like you. Lizzie gave Cove a dirty look at the accusation. Mommy felt the need to move the topic ahead before it got heated.
Oh, nice.
That's really sweet of you, but I'm sure Mr. Holton is busy. He might not have time for another hobby. Yeah, I don't think I'm made for that. Still, the offer is appreciated.
Why?
Then tell me something you really do already. You just go away every day. I like scuba diving, though with the business, that's more work than play these days. Surfing, reading, snorkeling. Wow, it's a good thing you live by the beach. Don't I know it? I have nightmares about moving inland.
No way.
That's not a good joke. The sun had been setting when you got your food, and by the time you finished, night had truly fallen. Your sticky fingers were the only remaining evidence of your meal. The kebab had been a great combination, more than the sum of its parts. The seasoning of freedom to choose every ingredient for yourself. What made it something to remember. Rising from the table, Mommy held up her water bottle. Okay, now that the food is gone and you've gone to wash your hands...
Okay.
Oh, wait. You got to wash your hands.
Okay.
Luna, Lizzie, please hold them out. Lizzie complied, coming over and cupping her hands together in front of her. Mommy splashed some water over her fingers and Lizzie rubbed them together, working off any residue. Here. Mom passed her a paper towel from her purse, and Lizzie used a dry off her hands. Your turn, Luna. You readily held out your hands to catch the water. Copying Lizzie, you wash your hands, taking care to clean every crevice between your fingers before wiping them dry. Nearby, Cove had taken his own course of action, wiping his hands on his pants and leaving a stain where his fingers had been. Mr. Holden shook his head.
Come on.
Let's clean that off, pal. He scrubbed the fabric with a screwed-up napkin. It's not that bad. When everyone had cleaned up, or as clean as they could be with the limited facilities, Mom spoke up.
Let's go.
Let's make one last check at the coolers and restock on drinks before the fireworks show. No time. We have to get a good spot. Everyone's going to be taken. How about I go ahead and save a spot again? You can meet up with me in the field after getting the drinks. Then I'm going with Cove's dad. I'll find the perfect place.
Okay.
Sure thing. I could use an extra pair of eyes. Mommy shook her head ruefully at Lizzie even more enthusiastically than the usual attitude.
That's fine.
Alright, me, Cliff, and Lizzie can go look for a place to sit. Pam, Cove, and Luna, do you want to get the drinks? Okay. Okay, I'll get all the stuff we need. As Mommy and Lizzie and Mr. Holden head off in the wide open field where the fireworks were being set up, you join Cove and Mom in the returning into the cooler where you pick up the drinks earlier. Even as you approach, you suspected you wouldn't find much in it. Where it had originally been stuck to the brim, it was now half empty. The ice, which had cushioned the drinks and kept them cool, was largely melted, with only a handful of pieces floating up like tiny icebergs. Slim pickings. The drinks that remained looked like bottles of plain water, but you got a glimpse of something more colorful amongst them. Mom rummaged around the cooler, extracting a couple of juice boxes from the bottom in the process.
Aha!
Luna, Cove, if you can take one of those if you want. The perks of helping. You took a juice box to share and a water bottle for yourself. You took a juice box for yourself. Took a juice box and a water bottle to share for yourself. Cove hesitated but decided to take a juice box for himself. When you were loaded up with your chosen drink, plus an extra water bottle or two for someone else in the group, Mom's phone started to ring. She juggled the water bottles in the crook of her arm and looked at the caller. It's Mommy. Hold tight while I get this.
How are you?
Hi, hon. How's it going? Did you find a perfect spot already? She nodded along the call, punctuated by uh-huhs, as Mommy gave her directions. Catching her eye, she gestured toward the grassy area. Got the place. Come on, we better hurry before the show starts. You and Cove jogged after your mom, who led you through the field, and the separate groups of people assembled there, back into the rest of your families.
Hello.
We're here and we come bearing drinks, though there wasn't much left. The three of you handed over the spare drinks, and you held up the extra juice box. I brought this for someone.
How sweet.
You're so thoughtful, Luna. Despite Mommy replying pretty expectantly, there was just one person who made claim to the sweet drink. Can I have it? Okay.
Thank you.
Love you, Luna. Aw. You're a real pair. Once everyone had been equipped with a beverage for the big event, you sat on the grass near the family and wait for the magic to begin. Most people in the park had taken a seat now, with a few stragglers silhouetted back at the tables in the distance. A few rambunctious kids were still dashing about, and their number was steadily decreasing as the parents called them over and restored order. Someone bearing a cardboard box weaved between the groups, pausing every so often. You nudged Lizzie and pointed. What are they doing? It looks like they're handing something out. I can't quite make out what it is.
What a pickle.
I hope it's not drinks. Mommy chuckled, but Lizzie and Cove were now watching the bestower of mystery goods keenly. Are they going to come to us too? Mom softly put her hands on top of your sister's shoulders as if she feared Lizzie might bolt over to the stranger. Lizzie didn't even glance at her eyes locked on the potential prize. I don't know.
In that case,
We'll have to wait and see. You were intrigued. Studying the man with the box closely as he gradually meandered nearer, you can make out he was handing out small items to make out. Most of the groups he stopped at. They seemed to be too short to be water bottles, but beyond that it remained a mystery. Then the box man made his way over to your group. Evening, I'm handing out dessert. Any takers? There's dessert? Lizzie squealed, hopping up off the ground. The man chuckled. Ice cream! I'm gonna take that as a yes. Ice cream's on the menu. Vanilla flavored with a twist of either chocolate or strawberry.
nice.
None for me, though. Thanks. Same, but the offer's appreciated. I want chocolate. Can I have strawberry? Strawberry for me, too, please. Now you're gonna have to make a decision. Chocolate or strawberry? Honestly, I'm in the mood for strawberry. Put on your mom's shirt and whisper that you wanted strawberry.
Oh,
And a third strawberry for this one here. Reaching out to the box, the man brought up the requested ice creams and tossed them out. It came in a packaged little plastic cup complete with a wooden spoon stuck to a paper spoon. Ugh, I could literally taste it. Condensation wet to your fingers in a pleasant way.
thank you.
Are you gonna thank the nice man too? There was a chorus of thanks. He cordially nodded and walked off to another group. The man couldn't spend too much time with each group, considering how many people he had to get to. He peeled back to the group that covered the ice cream and got right into an unexpected treat. It tasted amazing. Lizzie was definitely enjoying hers. Cove was too. Lizzie munched away happily, but ultimately didn't succeed in monopolizing her attention. Eyes wide, she looked at her mommy and pulled her pants.
Please!
Getting it, strawberry. Can I have some of yours, please?
Of course.
Lizzie's cooed in excitement as Mommy presented hers with a dollop of ice cream and syrup mixture. Licking her lips, Lizzie laughed it up. Mommy, come on now. Lizzie has all the ice cream she needs. She simply laughed and pinched Lizzie's cheeks and dug her spoon in again and held it out for you. Can't resist. Luna, would you like some of mine? They already got that flavor. But that's not the same as getting a little extra from your mommy. Accepted the bite. You ate the treat being offered, much to Muff's chagrin and Mommy's delight. Cove watched the exchange silently with a blank expression. Mom, on the other hand, shook her head, a fond smile on her face. Well, you better at least give me some, too. You could have gotten your own if you wanted ice cream.
What?
The kids have ice cream already, now they're getting some of yours to boot, and I have nothing. Now is when you decide you're going to be firm. Laughing, Mommy fed some of ice cream to your sulking mom. She could never actually follow through with being tough.
There.
All better now? Yes. Good, how about you, Cliff? Would you like some? No, I'm still okay, but thanks for keeping me in mind. Cove, it's only fair that you get a choice too. Cove shook his head firmly, concentrating on his own cup. Mommy smiled. Okay, as long as no one's feeling left out. Mommy was always so nice to everyone. Then the first firework cut through the sky, whistling as it ascended until it hit crescendo with an explosion. The park flashed as if alight. Squealing, Lizzie leapt to her feet, her forgotten ice cream tumbling to the ground as fireworks crackled into tiny drops into glittering sky. It's starting! Everyone else looked up into the sky as another firework whizzed through the air, each with explosion. Lizzie would jump into the air. Yeah, loud noises hurt your ears. You cover them with your hands. Spotting your discomfort, Mom came to sit behind you. She placed her own hands over yours, further muffling the cacophony from above. Soothed, you quietly watched your spectacle. Having Mom with you made you feel better. It didn't seem bad to take in the fireworks while she's around. Cove stood by his dad, captivated by the sparkles and flashes overhead. Mommy's gaze was on you, and then parents made eye contact. Mom gestured with her hand to silently say things that were fine there. Mommy smiled, then hopped to her feet and joined Lizzie in jumping up in tandem with every crack of firework. They had a little party together. Mr. Holden watched the fireworks scene impassively. He had a smile at you and even gave you a thumbs up when he noticed you were looking over. The fireworks continued, some twisting like the coil of spring as they arched into the air, others shooting straight up from the ground as shattering into a million tiny specks. Every color got its spotlight in the show, from fiery reds to eerie greens and blues that could rival the ocean. You eventually noticed that at some point Mr. Holden had let Cove perch on top of shoulders, or more likely Cove had been persuaded to give it a try. Still, Cove's face was covered with a wide smile that matched his father's own. You imagine the view from way up there was pretty impressive. It was also nice that they were getting along for once. The show built up to a grand finale that boomed over the park and filled every inch of the sky, the twinkling lights respecting the full spectrum of the rainbow. As the finally glittering embers dissolved into the night, you released a deep breath. The after images still burned on your retinas, leaping up behind your eyelids with every blink. Within a minute, the image had been lost, but it was burned deeper in your mind. You had been so focused on the show that your foot had gone numb beneath you, and it was only when you attempted to stand that you felt the tingling sensation of blood rushing back to your toes. Cove was on the ground again. Your eyes locked momentarily, and then you turned back to your family. The news that Cove and his dad would be coming with you to the once-a-year event hadn't been great. You can admit now that it hadn't been as bad as you feared, but it would take far more than not actively ruining one event for you to consider Cove a friend. Though the sun had gone down long ago, the air on your bare arms was warm. You took in your giddy family, their spirits buoyant by the firework display, and smiled. This had been a pretty special night. Let's do the ghost. The night was and there's little spectacles and stuff on like dust. The night was incredibly still. You couldn't ignore how silent it was. It was almost eerie. You could even hear Lizzie snoring in the next room over. It was hard to believe how much of a blur today was. Some are sure did slip right past you. You flickered through the moments like pages in scrapbook as you laid in bed. You thought a lot about what your adventures you could have tomorrow until sleep started to catch up to you. Then you heard something scrape against your window. It wasn't uncommon for the wind to push a tree branch against the glass. Summer breezes were the worst sometimes. But then the more you try to ignore it, the louder it seemed like it became. It was like someone was trying to get your attention. You lifted your head from the pillow to get a better look. Nothing was there. Nothing you could see, at least. You had to investigate the mysterious sound. It was too creepy to ignore. You practically jumped out of bed and crept down the stairs to get outside, which is pretty interesting. Your moms are still awake. They stayed up so late, it seems. Luckily, they were watching TV and didn't hear the soft click of the front door opening as you slipped past. You looked around the neighborhood for a few seconds, checking over each individual house. It looked normal, but it didn't feel that way. You knew you weren't supposed to be out here right now. It was exhilarating. Your touch was light as you couldn't keep the grin up from your face. No one had permitted you to go out. In fact, no one even knew you were out, and yet here you were. You wondered what else you could do. What other rules were so ingrained that you had never even considered that they could be broken. Luna. You twitched as the sun called. Oh, and he's in his PJs. Adorable. Immediately calming down on seeing Cove walk up to you. It was strange, and yet completely normal to have him appear like this right now. What are you doing? I saw you standing around in the middle of the street from my window. You weren't sleeping either? Why not? Cove turned up his lips into a smile, almost as if he was amused by the question. Because? Because what? Because I wasn't? His tone was irritated now. That wasn't only fair, since he had given you a proper answer the first time, or the second for the matter. Why aren't you sleeping? You weren't even in your house. Tempted as it was to turn his technique back on him, he decided to lead by example and show him what a real answer looked like. There was a strange noise coming from outside. I came to check it out. You heard it too? Cove hesitated for a moment, looking down the street before his aquamarine eyes fell on you again. Did it scare you? A little. Me too. The two of you dedicated smile at that. Cove even chuckled a little bit. It was nice that both of you felt the same way about things. I was kind of wondering if it was the wind, but what if it's not? What if it's a person? What if it's something that's not a person? The unsettling noise suddenly rushed through the air. Cove and you flinched. It sounds even worse than before. You were right to agree with him about the noise. It came yet again, tearing through the still night. The two of you were rapidly looking around, trying to find the source, but to no avail. There was no sign of an answer to this puzzle. You thought that. There's gotta be a regular reason for it. You didn't believe in monsters or anything like that. That only meant that whatever was causing the loud noise had to be something much more surreal. A million possibilities flashed through your mind, each one more worse than the last. Hey, can you tell where it's coming from?
Not really.
Then we'll have to look more, somewhere else. Maybe we'll see something. Okay, let's go. The two of you walked along the familiar streets of your neighborhood, sharing the sidewalk and whatever amount of courage you had between each other. Shadows cut corners and angles where you didn't expect them, distorting the features you saw every day. The noise came again, shrill and hard. It set your teeth on edge the way it ground its way through you. Cove's throat bobbed, his eyes glistening in the dim light. You offered him your hands. It was what your moms did when you and Lizzie were scared, and it always made you feel better. It just felt right to do it for him now. Cave's mouth opened wordlessly. There's a pause, but ultimately he accepted the offer. Your hands were never as sweaty as Cove's was now. Cave shut his eyes and pressed his lips together. Your fingers locked around each other even tighter.
So...
Where did you want to check? The hill is behind my house. You and Cove ascended the hill, lit only by the stars in the night sky. The winds rippled through the grass and ruffled your hair. Without the sunlight to translate what you were seeing, every bush in the distance looked as creepy figure or a towering monster. The noise was just as loud as it was in your neighborhood, with just as a little indication behind the cause. But you kept going forward. You couldn't stop when you had already gone so far. You had to find out what was going on. The top of the hill was an excellent vantage point to survey the town from. Everything appeared normal. There was no out-of-place sight pinpointing the answer to this mystery. Without visible markers to guide your way around, you suppose it was up to you and Cove to deduce the source of the sound. The hill had many great hiding places, and you intended to check them all. You upturned rocks, peered from trees, and rummaged in the thick grass of anything that might bring some closure on all of this. Despite your thorough searching, you've turned up nothing amiss. So we're glad you could come. You always relished playing outside rather than being cooped up indoors. This has always been a terrific excuse to go out and see in the world in different lights. Literally. Whatever this noise was, you were confident that you had established that it was not coming from the hill. Once you were satisfied nothing out of the ordinary was to be found on the hill, you had considered your next step. Figured you'd check the beach too. The beach stretched out in front of you, nothing in sight along its sands, no matter which way you turned. Part of you had imagined the noise had some creature in the deep, washed up on the shore and calling for aid. The theory had to be taken off the list for now. Still, you spent enough time on the shore to know that the real finds often require sharp eye and careful attention. The sound was no more than whimpering now. Emboldened, you kept your head high and walked along the sand. Let's see if there's anything here. Cove began to comb the beach for clues. You followed suit. The angry wind set grains of sand rolling across the beach like waves. You stayed clear of the water, which was rough and choppy tonight, and scoured the area for hints as to what might be happening. You were too wrapped up in your own search and imagining the possibilities behind the noise to pay attention to what Cove was up to, though you occasionally glanced up to make sure he had vanished. You saw a little white point jutting from amongst the sand. He bent down and brushed out the grains away, like the archaeologist.tv, uncovering a colonial cell. You ran your fingers over bumps and curves, admiring the low shell. Running up to your ear, you heard the usual waves, though your find was undoubtedly special. It was unconnected to the mysterious noise. That was okay. That meant you could take it home safely and add it to your collection. As you contemplated your options, it occurred to you that you hadn't heard the noise for a while. Cove, I think it's gone. Cove perked up at this. You watched as he listened for the scary sound that had become background noise to your adventure.
You're right.
You both stood awkwardly in the now silent night. Without any mysterious call to lead you, there wasn't any reason to stay out any longer. Then it was still as you walked home, with none of the usual background noises or the eerie whistle from before. You could hear every step you and Cove made like a cough in the movie theater. The two of you came to a halt outside your front door. Never before had looked so ominous. Now to sneak back inside. Do you sneak out a lot? Not really. Thought so. How do you know? I hadn't seen you out my window this late before. That was fair, though it could have been possible you're just good at sneaking out. This is the first time he had caught you. Are you worried about getting caught?
No.
He was so forthright that you believed him completely. But your dad, won't he get mad at or sad that if he catches you? He's never happy with what I do. Oh. You sympathize. That must be hard. Yeah, me and Mom do what they want. Why shouldn't I? Alright, I'm going.
Bye.
Okay, good night. Good night. You turned the doorknob as slowly as clock's minutes hand, holding your breath for the telltale click of the lock, then nudged it open. When all that happened was your door opening rather than blaring alarm you feared, you melted with relief. Back inside your house, you were surprised to find your mom still watching TV. Weird, still, it looks like they were on the same show as they were watching before you left, yet you were positive you'd been out investigating for hours. Perhaps you could use the distraction to your advantage. If you could just get up the stairs, you would be safe from suspicion. But how'd you get up there? You decided to walk in your own house nonchalantly. Sometimes the best thing you could do was to hide in plain sight. You strode across the room in your direction of the staircase. Won't like it. Luna? Your moms knew that you were up, but they had no idea why. They abandoned the couch and the show to hurry over. They were still in the safe surprise. You weren't in trouble yet.
Are you okay?
What are you doing down here, sweetie? Did you have a bad dream? You lied. You didn't bring yourself to own up what you had done. Hey, it's scary nose. So I'm getting down here. Their surprise gave way to concern.
Sweetie.
Mom took you by the hand and led you up the stairs. Oof, your hand is cold. Why didn't you come over to us? I was supposed to be in bed. Luna, you won't ever be in trouble for coming to us when you're frightened. I'd much rather you came to us than try to solve things all by yourself. Her phrasing made you feel bad. The nervousness ate at you as you were tucked into bed. Your mom's assured you that the flushing and insistence on delving under the covers was part of your fear, and spoke to you softly until you calmed down enough to peep out from underneath your sheets. Once your moms had left, you turned over the night's adventure in your mind. It was still hard to believe that you'd really done it. It was harder to believe that you had gotten away with it. Even now, you half expected to be caught somehow. Perhaps you left the door ajar or trailed of sand where they already swept off. You wonder how Cove's dad had handled his return. Cove hadn't been all scared about his dad's reaction. Wiggling down deeper underneath the sheets, you thought turned to what noise could have been. Nothing had been soft tonight, but that wasn't so bad. There was a lot of mysteries in this world. Your thoughts morphed into dreams, carrying you more and more outlandish visions of what lay behind the strange sounds. The next morning proceeded mostly like usual, though your mom seemed to be giving extra consideration since finding you last night. You later learned Cove didn't end up in trouble for the nightly escape either. It was unclear whether they learned because his dad chose not to punish him or Cove got away with it. It was amazing to you that all worked out for you both. As for the sounds that started us all, their doubts were convinced it was nothing more than the wind. For your imagination mind, that wasn't nearly enough. How could they accept something so simple so easily? Maybe it would make more sense when you're grown up too. And with that, I'm going to call this here. So I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives, and may the stars forever guide your path wherever they might lead you into the future. Bye, and see you guys next time.